Now, there's a difference between being controversial and being reckless. One gets you attention, the other one gets you investigated. And Don Lemon, he just crossed that line.
You heard what some of the folks said in there, that this is, they shouldn't be there and, they shouldn't be uncomfortable and this is our house and whatever. That's what protesting is about, is to make people uncomfortable. You may not like it, but I mean, if they went into a church, any church, you heard.
Okay, so this is Don Lemon explaining the purpose of protesting, right? Y'all heard him. This is what protest is about. It may make people uncomfortable, right? Those are his words that you just heard. That statement matters because it frames everything that comes next, y'all. Don Lemon isn't describing an accident or some sort of misunderstanding. He's describing intent. The question is, uncomfortable how and to who, Because once you answer that, the justification starts to fall apart. And that becomes pretty clear immediately.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled. And that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America. And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are.
Oh, please, yeah, get over yourself. Now you got, after what he just pulled, Lemon insults churchgoers after that whole diabolical disruption, really? Now, the target is clear. This wasn't a government office. It wasn't ICE headquarters. It wasn't a politician. It was a church during worship, with families inside. And instead of regret, the response is labeling them as entitled, white supremacists, and reducing Christianity to a racial stereotype. This is insane. At this point, it's no longer about protest. It's about contempt.
People who are wearing the uniform now, you think they're patriots?
I don't think so, especially those ICE agents.
That's what I'm talking
no.
about. Yeah.
Well, no, they're terrorists. They're traitors.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your service. I appreciate.
Today we had the honor to protest with Nikema Armstrong and the Racial Justice Network. Just like Jesus did, we went into that church and we flipped tables peacefully. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino communities?
I'm not going to comment.
You have no comment, exactly. As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving. Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis. Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice. He wears a suit and tie and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not? Why are you not going down to Whipple and joining us in protest against this inhumanity?
So this is important because in the beginning, Lemon thanked the agitator who stormed the church. Now, this is the moment where the journalist argument collapses from Don Lemon's end. You know, when you thank someone for disrupting the church, you're no longer documenting behavior, you're validating it. Now, he didn't necessarily, I guess, thank him for that directly, but you get what I mean. That's not observation, that's participation. And participation carries a responsibility.
Nicki Minaj broke her silence early this morning to go in on Don Lemon, which is highly deserved. Don Lemon may be going to federal prison because he decided to be ignorant and storm a church, talk about ICE and get on ICE. But the thing is, you're going into a Christian church where people are serving God. You are scaring children. What is wrong with Don Lemon? Rightfully so, Nikki, standing up again for the rights of Christians. People are literally on Twitter saying they're not voting for that party anymore, that things are getting crazy, that you take yourself to go storm and protest at a church where people serve God? Come on now. Nicki Minaj
Seriously, man. Now, this is a defense for Nicki Minaj standing up for worship rights. Now, what's important here is who's speaking. This isn't a conservative, activist or a politician of some sort. This is, culture reacting to a boundary being crossed. Lemon crossed. When people who disagree on almost everything still agree, this went too far, that's not outrage. That's quite literally recognition. And it forces a response.
So people have been asking me about responding to Nicki Minaj's unhinged, homophobic tweet about me. I usually don't respond to this stuff, but let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans. You're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk about me and what you think that I do? Nicki Minaj, get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll, because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should black people, and so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music. Clock that.
Man, he really thought he did something there. He was so intellectually dishonest, it was annoying. Yeah, if you read what she wrote, you knew she was not being homophobic in any kind of way. Right now, this guy, this is the response. Instead of addressing a concern, the disruption of worship, the focus shifts to character attacks, insults, and threats, basically. This is a very familiar pattern where, when the left can't defend the action, they just attack the person questioning it. And remember, if you're somebody who has formed your own opinion, if you're part of Team Think and you just so happen to be black, you're everything but a human being when you don't agree. But by now, the damage, let's just say it is already done.
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground. I'm speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at? And as it turns out, because we were like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? Saw the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up. And it's Sakima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since George Floyd, Dante Wright, and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account. And so that's what we're doing here. And then after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you where they're going.
Y'all know what this video just proved, right? It just proved that he had knowledge about this, beforehand. because this is where intent becomes critical. If Don Lemon knew this was planned, if he wasn't just present but informed, then the narrative completely changes. This stops being about coverage and starts being about coordination, all right? And coordination is where legal consequences definitely begin, y'all. Check this out. Let me put this on a big screen. These are the receipts showing, planning and coordination right here. Protesters disrupted a church. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me scroll up here. Friends, this is a clip of our demonstration this morning at the city's church in St. Paul. Boop is a pastor at this church. And anywho, just read who was tagged. I didn't mean to read all that, y'all, my fault. But read who was tagged up in this thing. Don Lemon. It is time for judgment to begin, and it will begin in the house of God. Thank you to all the activists who showed up, plus independent journalists. Boom. So, yeah, he had knowledge about the planned actions, create accountability. Once something is organized, once people are coordinating targets, timing, and messaging, then no longer treats it as spontaneous expression, if you will. That's when the situation leaves social media and enters reality, y'all.
Yesterday, I went into a church with Nakima Armstrong and I protested these white supremacists. A pastor of the church is a fucking ICE leader in the city. How can you be a fucking pastor and be a fucking ICE agent? Fuck them. They want to come after me? Fuck them. How can they live so comfortably while the fucking people from Somalia that are in this country legally, that have fucking citizenship, can't even go to their mosque and pray? How do they deserve any fucking different? Fuck those fucking Nazis. Come and get me, Pam Bondi, you fucking traitorous bitch. All power to the people. Yesterday.
Hey, man, he sounds like he's about to catch a case of the FAFOs. Oh, this activist just taunted Pam Bondi. This is what confidence looks like right now before consequences arrive, all right? When people believe they're protected politically, culturally, and or ideologically, how you say that? Ideologically, there we go. I almost said that thing wrong. Ideologically. They stop being careful. They stop being careful altogether. They start daring the system to respond, as you just seen right here. And sometimes the systems, they accept the invitation.
Can you give me an update on this post, Harmeet?
Well, yes, actually, I posted that from an airplane, and Pam Bondi and I, my boss, had already been in touch about this incident, what we're going to do about it. And so I'm working hand in hand with her. We have sent federal prosecutors last night from my office in D.C. to Minnesota. They should be landing any moment now. We activated the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office as well. And this has the highest attention of the Attorney General and my Department of Justice team, because it is, as you said in your intro, this isn't actually a question of whether we're going to stand for it. We don't stand for it in this country. And not every case that we do at the DOJ gets the headlines, but we've already prosecuted numerous attacks on churches so far in the last 9 months since I took office under Pam Bondi's leadership. We are investigating multiple attacks on synagogues. It is evil to attack any house of worship in America. It is illegal. And what I saw yesterday made me ashamed, frankly, for the United States, that we have an attorney general in Minnesota, Keith Ellison, a district attorney, Mary Moriarty, a mayor, Jacob Fry, and Tim Waltz, Tampon Tim, who absolutely refuse to enforce our state laws. Their own state laws prohibit this very conduct. Well, if they're not going to enforce their laws, we will enforce our federal laws, and we are already doing that. And so, as you know, and as people have said, the prior administration prosecuted people under the FACE Act for peacefully praying outside abortion clinics where unborn children were being killed inside. Now, that's protected by federal law. That's up to Congress. However, that same law gives us the right at the Department of Justice to prosecute the same kind of conduct vis-a-vis any house of worship. And there's been a lot of talk of the First Amendment thrown around. The First Amendment includes the right to pray without interference. It includes the right of these people to not have so-called journalists and a mob of activists disrupt their sacred day of prayer. And so, as far as I can tell, these very foolish people have already, many of them self-identified online as to who they were. They posted who their accomplices were. Don Lemon has made numerous admissions online as to his participation here and his intention and his knowledge of what was going to happen inside that sacred place. And so we're gathering the facts, and there will be action here. I know people are frustrated. Where are the arrests, et cetera? Let me explain that for you and your team, Benny, because state prosecutors could have arrested some of these people yesterday. They don't have some of the same hurdles that we do in the DOJ. When DOJ, we gather our facts, we go to a federal judge. A federal judge has to issue the search warrants. We all know what the federal judges are doing right now in Minnesota. We will pursue charges in this case. I see.
And here's the response. No hashtags, no commentary, no spin. Federal prosecutors saying they're on the ground and they're investigating. This is the part that never trends because accountability doesn't need an audience. Now, this video, it wasn't about free speech. It wasn't about protest. And if a dang show was not about journalism, as Don Lemon wants to put it, it was definitely power being tested and now being checked. And that's why you do not want to be Don Lemon right now. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write "not untouchable." Yep. Not even for the algorithm, for me. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.